Welcome back to the Open World RPG in Dreams series. In this devlog, I'll be continuing work on the item enchanting system, and we may or may not actually get it working. Sort of. Oh, what's up? Do you want me to, like, here? There you go.
Say hi, buddy. So handsome.
We need an enchant button and a disenchant button. And I think I want you to be able to disenchant different, like either of the enchantments. And what needs to happen is, so let's say you put an enchanted weapon here. There's two enchantments. There'll be a disenchant button here and here. I need a button that can say disenchant or enchant. Let's try to make that. Honestly, I can kind of just turn this into a button. Is that a bad idea? I don't think it is, because the button actually needs to be like an inventory spot. So actually, this is a great idea. Cool, yeah. So now, right now, you can actually drag items to it. That's not what I want. If we're carrying an item, you should not be allowed to go to this spot. This tag can't turn on if the cursor is holding an item. How do we know the cursor is holding an item? Like that, cursor grabbing. Okay, so if cursor is grabbing, you can't go here. Cursor is grabbing, you can't go there. So if cursor is not grabbing, you can go here. Let's try it. I don't have an item. Okay, I was trying to make the sword, but I guess that'll work. Yeah, look at that. I can't even go, I can't go to the right at all. Now I can. That's cool. That's really cool. And honestly, you shouldn't even be able to move to this unless you can enchant or disenchant. You shouldn't even be able to go to this button at all. Let me just say the plan. So for enchantment, we need an enchantable item here. We need the correct enchantment here. So we need a weapon enchantment here. And then when we press this button, it destroys this enchantment. And it replaces whatever enchantment it was here with the enchantment that was here. Disenchanting, there needs to be nothing here, and there needs to be an enchanted item here. And then pressing disenchant will disenchant the item and spawn the enchantment that was here. It'll spawn that item. So that's what I need to do. Hopefully we can do it in less than 3 hours. But the first step, we need to sense when we can enchant and disenchant. You won't be allowed to go to scroll over to this button unless you can enchant or disenchant. When can we disenchant? I feel like that's the easier one. We can disenchant when there is an enchanted item here. So an item with an enchantment. And there's nothing in here. If there is nothing in here, then we can disenchant. If there's an enchantment in here, we'll enchant. So even if there's an enchantment already on the weapon and you put an enchantment here, it'll replace it. If the weapon has an enchantment in the first slot and there is no enchantment in this inventory spot or whatever, then you can disenchant. And disenchanting will turn on the disenchant text displayer. Okay, what about enchanting? When can we enchant? When there's no enchantment in this item slot, and there is an enchantment here. So basically the exact opposite of this. If the weapon does not have an enchantment in the first slot, and there is an enchantment item here, then we can enchant. So now you can only go to this button, like you can only scroll over to the button if either of these are true. So you can't scroll to the frick. It needs to be an AND gate here. There you go. So we can't move over. Just to test this, let's put it here, and then see that's not good. We shouldn't be able to scroll over to the enchant button because there's no item here. We probably need to check if there's an item here at all. Item in the enchantment station, which means there's an item here. So if there's an item here at all, and this stuff, which we already did, then it'll work. The issue was you could put an enchantment item here and the buttons would appear, but now they don't unless you put an item here. So now we're trying to enchant the pickaxe. Like that, it says enchant. That's pretty nice. We need to make sure that it's either an armor enchantment or a weapon enchantment. How do we know the difference? I don't know. I don't know if we're keeping track of that. I think we just store it in the item. I'm thinking we just add another piece of data. And I'm setting it up this way. I could have just done one switch. Well, maybe I should just do one switch, honestly. Let's just do one switch, because if it's not a weapon enchantment, then it's an armor enchantment, right? You know what? I think it would make it easier if we did do the 2 switches, because this will also give us an easy way to know whether or not it's an enchantment at all. If this is on, that means we want it alive, right? So if this is on, it powers this destroyer, which destroys this chip. If this chip does not get destroyed, this chip destroys everything else. So this chip destroys this, and itself. And the moral of the story is, if you have logic that you don't need, you should delete it. Now that we know if an item is an armor enchantment or a weapon enchantment, we can continue with the enchantment station logic. We need to check whether it matches. We have a shield, right? And then we have an armor enchantment. The shield is armor, so we would be able to enchant. But if we had a weapon with an armor enchantment, you wouldn't be able to enchant, right? That's what I'm trying to do right now. We have the equipment spot type, and I'm gonna put that here. H is main hand. What is armor? I know it's I know it's G, I know it's F. Head is D, I believe. Check if the enchantment type matches the item type. That's what's going on in here. So armor gets matched with armor, main hand gets matched with main hand. If it matches, you can press it. If it doesn't match, it's going to gray it out. Okay, here we go. We have a weapon. We have an armor enchantment. Maybe we test the armor first. So we have armor, which is a shield, and we have the armor enchantment. And it says we can enchant. Let's replace this with the weapon and see how it's grayed out. If we do this, it's not grayed out because they match. Okay, let's gray out the border as well. Nice, very nice. I want some error text now. Should I do that, or should I be more specific? Should I say, you cannot enchant a main hand weapon with an armor enchantment? I think that is better because it specifically tells you what is wrong. Let's make it red because you're being bad. And then we want the opposite. We want it flipped. You cannot enchant an armor item with a main hand enchantment. I feel like armor and main hand should be capitalized. So if I put this here, it should work. Okay, that worked. If I put the wrong enchantment in, it's working. It worked. Why isn't it showing up? That's why. All right, here we go. So we have a main hand with an armor enchantment, and there you go. You cannot enchant a main hand item with an armor enchantment. you idiot. No, I'm kidding. And then, no, I'm joking. It's not your fault if you don't understand that. Let's reverse it, right? So let's put a piece of armor. Oh, okay, so this is an issue. It shouldn't display if you just have that. Notice how it says, okay, so now you cannot enchant an armor item with a main hand enchantment. Perfect. So it's working. Guys, I think we're ready to actually do enchanting now. I mean, when I press this, well, okay, I can't do that. That's a bad example. When I press this enchant button, it will consume this item and put this enchantment on this shield. I think we're ready. We need a prompt, right? We need, we press X, and then an on-screen prompt says, are you sure you want to enchant this item with this enchantment? Maybe it only says, are you sure, if you're gonna overwrite an enchantment. Because, like, why Why would I do that prompt, that warning prompt, when you can just undo it for free, you know? Maybe enchanting costs money or something. Yeah, enchantment costs money. I'm not gonna make it cost money right now because I don't know what the currency is, but just to prevent you from like enchanting and disenchanting over and over and over, it should have some sort of consequence. We press X, it says, are you sure you want to enchant? I'm not gonna say the names, because there are no strings in dreams, and I'm literally not able to. So are you sure you want to enchant? Question mark. You press yes. And then it literally just takes this enchantment ID and applies it onto this item. So I'm pressing X. Okay, I get this, that's good. Nothing's gonna happen from this, but the fact that it's working is good. And when the text is active, I'm using left and right D-pad and the inventory is not moving. That's really good. Can enchant, can disenchant, which selects one of these two. Why is the pickaxe called Temp Sword? Has it always been named Temp Sword and I just didn't notice? Okay, anyway, let's try it. Okay, disenchant. Are you sure you want to disenchant? Perfect. And let's try to enchant. Oh, okay, we can press the X button without actually being there. That's an issue. So now we know if the cursor is actually there. Let's grab this enchantment, put it here, and press enchant. Are you sure you want to enchant? Are you sure you want to disenchant? Perfect. Are we actually going to do it now? Let's actually do it. Okay. We need the enchantment ID, and then we literally just need to put the number in it. This should be really easy, guys. Like, I've set it up in a way to make it extremely easy. Ench station slot 1 ench ID. So we're getting the enchantment ID, and we are setting it in the item. This should work. It's literally that easy. This should work. So no enchantment. See how the sword has, it's a little bit small, but see how the sword says no enchantment? Let's grab the sharp enchantment and press enchant and press yes. Hey, it worked. There you go. Now, if it wasn't obvious, we need to destroy the item here. We're searching for the tag item destroy. And we destroy the item. We put the enchantment here. We press enchant, press square. It consumes the enchantment and it gave me the enchantment, sharp, sharp. And now if I go back into the main game scene, it will still be sharp, sharp. It'll still have the enchantment on it. How about disenchantment, disenchanting? This is gonna be a little more difficult. I need to take the enchantment ID and turn it into an item. This is actually gonna be really annoying. Like extremely annoying. Just grab the emitter, I guess. We need some way to reset it. We need some way, I don't remember, I don't think I have a way. Reset Ench2, all it does is unfreeze. So it unfreezes, it loses the value, and then sets it to 0. Okay, neither of them have an enchantment in the first slot. I mean, hey, let's enchant it. Okay, it's enchanted. What? Okay, wait, what the hell? That's not good. So here we go, here we go. We're going to enchant the sword. Yes, the sword is enchanted. Now let's disenchant the sword. And now it says no enchantment. Perfect. So we're disenchanting. We need to respawn the enchantment. Now this is where it gets kind of annoying. Not necessarily difficult, just annoying. We need to get the enchantment that was here. This is tough. We're spawning an item. So this is the enchantment ID, but we need the item ID of the corresponding enchantment. So we have the enchantment ID. We need to get the item ID and then spawn in that item. How are you going to get the item ID? I'm gonna hard code it. This logic will get the enchantment ID and will return the corresponding item ID. This is done with a calculator. For example, if the enchantment ID equals 1, it will return the number 21. or 22. 21 if it's a main hand item, and 22 if it's an armor item. Because remember, the enchantment IDs are shared between main hand and armor. The first enchantment IDs of both is 1. Every time a new enchantment is created, I will have to update this logic. That's why it's called hard coding. If it wasn't hard coded, it would be able to dynamically get the correct ID without any updates, without me having to change anything. If I was using a game engine, such as Unity or Godot, I would easily be able to store all the data I wanted inside the actual item, including the enchantment's item ID. The reason I can't with Dreams is because of the 128 global variable limit. And this is the ID. Or this is the spawn data, rather. Let's try it. We're going to take this sword. We're going to enchant it. So you can see it says no enchantment. We're going to enchant it. Okay, now it says sharp. We're going to disenchant it. Yeah, it didn't work. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh my god, it did work. It worked! Yes! It works! It actually worked. We just need to spawn it here instead. I think this just works. Spot new item position. I think this works. We can just keep going. Oh, that's awesome. It actually works. I think we copy and paste this now. Okay, we can't disenchant for some reason. Shit. Bam, now it'll work. Perfect. All right, I think we're good. So no enchantment, you can't do anything. Sharp, you can disenchant. Let's disenchant it. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, well, it tried its best. Let's just try to do this one. Okay, that worked. Disenchant. Okay, one of them's working. That's good. Okay, it probably didn't work because this zone is off in freaking Mars. It should be here. Any other zones? Yes, there are other zones. All right, it'll work now. I am 98% sure it'll work. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. No enchantment sharp. Disenchant the sharp. 98% sure. Yes, it's this one. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Okay, let's try it again. Come on. Okay, let's try disenchanting. 98% sure it'll work.